Hey everyone, welcome back to VL Podcasts, part of your favorite tech and education channel, Visual Learners. Today we have an inspiring story that highlights the transformative power of education, technology, and opportunity in Africa, specifically focusing on an organization that's making waves from Ethiopia to Silicon Valley, A2SV, or Africa to Silicon Valley. A2SV is reshaping the educational landscape in Africa by providing high-potential university students with rigorous training and connecting them with internships at some of the world's biggest tech giants companies like Google, Palantir, and LinkedIn. But that's not all. A2SV goes even further by encouraging students to create digital solutions that address critical issues in their home countries. Today we'll break down how A2SV is revolutionizing opportunities for Africa's youth, why their mission is so vital, and how they're working to close the digital divide in the process.
Emre Varol was born and raised in Turkey, and he spent 8 years at tech giants like Google and Palantir before a 6-month visit to Ethiopia changed his life. It was here that he witnessed the untapped potential of African students, leading him to establish the African to Silicon Valley, or A2SV Academy.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. So, something tells me you're here because, well, you're kind of interested in tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, how about innovation in Africa?
Yeah, it's a hot topic for sure.
Well, get ready, because today we're going deep into the world of A2SV.
Africa to Silicon Valley?
Yeah, exactly. Africa to Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And just that name alone, I mean, it kind of gives you a sense of what we're about to uncover, right?
The energy.
The innovation. And we've got a ton of cool stuff to work with for this deep dive. We've got YouTube videos, articles, all about A2SV and, well, their mission to bridge this tech gap.
That's right. We're talking about empowering a new generation.
Exactly.
With tech talent. Yeah.
Totally. And really trying to build up this whole ecosystem.
Yeah, a thriving ecosystem.
Of innovation in a place that honestly doesn't always get the attention or the resources it deserves. Right?
Exactly. And it all starts with this guy, Emre Varol. He's the founder of A2SV.
Okay, so Emre Varol. I gotta say, his story, it's not your typical, like, Silicon Valley story. I mean, the guy was a competitive programmer in Turkey.
Which, by the way, is no easy feat.
No, not at all. Those guys are like serious brain power.
Absolutely.
Then he goes on to work at Google, Palantir. You'd think, okay, this guy's on the fast track, but here's the thing.
Classic Silicon Valley, right?
You'd think so?
But then
There's a turn.
he takes a trip, 6 months, to Ethiopia.
Okay, so 6 months in Ethiopia. That's got to change you a bit.
And it did. Something shifted. That's how he describes it, actually.
That's so interesting. You can almost predict what's going to happen next. He sees the tech talent.
Untapped potential, but also a huge gap.
The opportunity.
The opportunity just isn't there in the same way. And there's that quote of his.
Oh, yeah, what's that quote?
Talent is everywhere, opportunity is not.
And that's it right there, isn't it? That's the whole thing.
It really is. And to his credit, he didn't just, come back from this trip, write a blog post about it, and call it a day.
No, he actually did something about it.
He acted. This guy, he founded A2SV, and he took action.
And thank goodness he did, because the results, they speak for themselves. They went from, a handful of students and in 2019?
22, to be exact.
22, to over 800 today? That's insane growth.
It's incredible. And it's not just about the numbers, right?
Of course not.
It's the quality, the impact. Think about it. Over 800 individuals, primarily in Ethiopia and Ghana, equipped with these in-demand tech skills.
That's life-changing stuff.
Absolutely.
And they're not just getting any jobs, right?
Yeah, right.
We're talking Google, Amazon, LinkedIn. Come on.
They're being sought out.
That's huge. That says a lot about the quality of education they're getting through this program.
It speaks volumes. But it's even bigger than that, isn't it? Because it's not just about funneling all this talent into big tech companies, right? It's about building something sustainable within Africa.
That's what I was thinking, too. You can't just, train a bunch of people and then hope for the best. You need that support system.
Exactly. It's about fostering an ecosystem, and that's where I think this incubator program is so fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that, because I read they're incubating something like 13 different projects, and I want to know what that actually means.
So basically, think of it as this supportive environment where they take these really promising tech projects and they give them the resources, the guidance, the mentorship they need to actually, flourish and become something real.
So it's not just about the skills, it's about the whole entrepreneurial journey.
Exactly. And these are homegrown solutions tackling problems that people in Africa face every single day. Healthcare, education, you name it.
13 projects already.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you know what else is amazing? This whole hackathon thing they've got going on.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you about that.
The biggest in Africa. I mean, how could we not talk about that?
I know. That's what caught my eye, too.
It's mind-blowing.
Almost 5,000 participants from 48 different countries.
Think about the energy in that room. I mean, 48 countries coming together, all these different perspectives, all these different experiences. It's got to be electric.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the excitement that's bubbling up around tech in Africa, you know? It's like a pressure cooker for innovation.
I bet.
Yep.
And there's a pretty nice prize at the end of it all, too, right?
$330,000 and a trip to Ethiopia. Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all. I'm sure that's a huge motivator for a lot of those participants. But even beyond the money, like, what's it actually like to be there? I mean, what kind of impact does an event like that have?
Well, there's this one team, right? They really stick in my mind. They developed this mobile app, MTIBA.
MTIBA, what's that about?
So it's all about health insurance. See, a lot of people, they have trouble accessing and managing it, you know?
Yeah, it can be a real maze, especially in parts of the world where the systems aren't as, digitized or user-friendly.
Exactly. And this app, it simplifies everything. They actually won the grand prize a couple of years back.
No kidding. So they took on the big bucks and what?
Yeah.
They just went on their merry way.
Heck no. They got additional funding, expanded to multiple countries. I mean, they're making a real impact.
That's what I love to hear. It's one thing to, have a cool idea for a weekend. It's another to turn it into something that can actually make a difference.
That's the dream. And that's what A2SV is helping them do. And that's just one story. There are tons of these A2SV grads out there doing amazing stuff.
It's really inspiring, honestly. It shows that A2SV is more than just like, teaching people how to code. It's about giving them the tools and the mindset to be change makers.
100%. But, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? There are challenges. Even Varol talks about this, like traditional education. It's just not cutting it anymore.
It's true. I mean, things are changing so fast, especially in the tech world. You can't just be learning stuff that's already outdated by the time you graduate.
Exactly. And you know what Varol says? He says you got to prepare for jobs that don't even exist yet.
Whoa. That's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. How do you even begin to prepare for something that doesn't exist?
That's where this whole emphasis on problem solving comes in. Instead of just memorizing facts and figures, it's about being adaptable, thinking critically.
Being creative.
Exactly. And that's how A2SV structures its whole program. It's all about project-based learning, real-world problem-solving collaboration.
To more like actually doing stuff than just reading about it in a book.
Yeah. It's like, imagine you're thrown into a real-world scenario and you got to figure it out, right?
I got a crash course.
It is, but it's also the best way to learn, I think. And it goes back to what we were talking about, building that tech ecosystem within Africa.
Right. It's not just about filling jobs at Google or Amazon. It's about equipping people to create their own solutions right here in Africa.
Absolutely. Which reminds me, we were going to talk about some of those projects that are incubating. Remember, 13 of them.
Oh, yeah. The incubator. Tell me more. What are they working on? Give me some specifics.
Okay, so there's this one project that's tackling maternal health care.
Wow, that's a huge issue, especially in areas where access to healthcare is limited.
Exactly. So they're developing this mobile platform that connects expectant mothers with, midwives, healthcare professionals.
Oh, wow. So even if they can't physically get to a clinic, they can still get the information and support they need.
Exactly. Think about how life-changing that could be.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What else? What other kinds of projects are they working on?
There's another one focused on education. They're building this online learning platform. And it's not just your typical online courses, They're using gamification, interactive content, making it really engaging.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Especially for kids who might not have the most stimulating learning environments otherwise.
And the best part, they're designing it to work even with limited internet access. Because that's a reality for a lot of communities, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we can't just assume everyone has high-speed internet. That's a privilege, not a guarantee.
Right. And it's something like 300,000 lives lost each year because of struggling education systems in Africa.
That's heartbreaking, and it really highlights why these kinds of initiatives are so crucial. It's about more than just convenience. It's about equity. It's about saving lives.
Exactly. And that's what I find so powerful about A2SV. They're not just throwing technology at problems, they're trying to understand the local context, the specific needs.
They're creating solutions from within, not imposing them from the outside.
And
It seems to be working. But where do they go from here? I mean, what's next for A2SV? What's Varol's ultimate vision? So we've seen how E2SV is making a real difference, but what's the long game here? What's Varol hoping to achieve in the grand scheme of things?
well, he talks about this ripple effect, right? It starts with these 800 students.
Right, they're like the first wave.
Exactly. And they go out there, they get jobs, they start their own companies, they become mentors themselves. And suddenly, it's not just 800 people, it's thousands. It's exponential. And I imagine it also starts to change perceptions, right? I mean, we've talked about this idea of Africa being seen as, just a place with problems.
Right, like it's all about poverty and disease and conflict.
Exactly. But A2SV is showcasing a different side of Africa.
The innovation, the talent, the potential. It's about time the world sees that.
Absolutely. And that reminds me of something else we touched on earlier, this whole idea of getting more tech voices into policymaking.
Oh, yeah. Varol's very passionate about that.
Because, I mean, it makes sense, right? If you want to bridge the digital divide, you need people in power who actually understand technology.
100%. You need people who get it, who can craft policies that make sense, who can build an infrastructure that supports innovation.
It makes you wonder, what if, like 10 years down the line, you've got all these A2SV graduates in positions of power?
Oh, man. That's an exciting thought.
What kind of changes could they make? What kind of future could they create?
A future where Africa is leading the way in, like renewable energy or digital healthcare. Imagine that. It's not just a pipe dream.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
And A2SV is laying the groundwork for that to happen.
Exactly. And it all goes back to what we were saying earlier, about believing in human potential, about giving people the tools they need to succeed. That's what A2SV is all about.
It's been an amazing journey learning about this organization, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning for them.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait to see what they do next.
And for those of you listening, if you're as inspired by A2SV as we are, we've got links to their website and all the projects we talked about in the show notes, so be sure to check those out.
Yeah, go down that rabbit hole. Learn more, get involved, because who knows, maybe you'll be the next one to make a difference.
That's right. And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of African tech innovation. Until next time, stay curious and never underestimate the power of a good idea.